All right, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever it is in the world you're coming to us from. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media world. So glad to be hosting another episode of DYOR Live. Our show's growing, it's getting more popular. People are tuning in, sponsors are sponsoring, viewers are viewing, streamers are streaming. I'm just full of all kinds of stuff today, but I'd be full of crap without my co-host Pedro Garcia in the house. Pedro, what's happening?
What's up, guys? It is good to have every one of you that is here. We are glad to have you. How you doing, Tom? How's life?
Good. Life is hectic right now because while I've spent my whole life in work going to regular trade shows, I have gone to a few crypto trade shows. I've never had to seriously work a crypto trade show, meaning move the studio software, hardware and software thing to a mobile place. I posted the picture the other day in the TG room about working at my in-laws, and I just had a laptop on some pillows so the camera was the right height. That's not the setup we're getting here for Blockchain Futurist Convention in Toronto.
Really?
Out here, and I'm bringing the goods, and it's a big checklist of stuff. So Tom's in full panic mode right now. But all is good because it's for good things. This show is going to be a big show for us, get a lot of exposure. And all of you diehards that have been here since the beginning watching us are going to be like, yeah, we're the OGs. We are here back in the day when Striking and Pedro were nobodies. They were big people in their own mind. But anyway, let's see who's here in the house. We got, call you Tommy Strikes. Oh, that'd be my mafia name.
What's up?
That's my mafia name. Who's that? That's Tommy Strikes. Oh. It was like
Tommy
from
Strikes.
Goodfellas that the guy always said things two times. His name is Tommy. Tommy two times.
Tommy two times.
But Crypto Mike, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. It's the goods for you. Here they are. Here's your Olympic moment. That's right. That's right, ladies and germs. Anyway, Mike, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. Appreciate it always. Today is Technical Tuesday, as I've told everybody. Bring the crews, bring the community, bomb our chats, and we'll might go over your project too, along with all the other ones we got to go over. So, Pedro, before we get completely started here, how have you been since yesterday?
I've been really well. Things have been kind of crazy in the market. It's been fun. We've had some really, really good. I mean, just a 5-minute candle on the S&P 500 is 10 points. So that is huge moves. I mean, things are just moving. So it's a nice little easy trades.
Your screen here for some reason.
Oh, it is all good.
Let's see, Pedro. Where is me, Pedro? Pedro is on. All right, let's switch to Pedro mode and see what happens when we do that. But anyway, Pedro, while I'm doing a little bit of the social media stuff, why don't you let everyone know what's going on here?
Absolutely. Guys, please, if you don't mind doing us a favor, and please hit that heart button, like button, and share button to your preferred social media outlets, or even the ones you don't like. Either way, we'd still appreciate it immensely. And two, if you don't mind, if you're on X, if you could please hit those heart buttons as well, because we are trying to blow up on X and get it popping like it's hot over there. And we want to raise the roof as if the roof is on fire.
The roof is on fire.
And so in doing that, that would help us out tremendously, just in general, helping us get our name out there, but more importantly, also being able to get a wider variety of more people who would want to come on the show so that we can have better guests. So if you don't mind doing that, that would help quite a bit. That would help the algorithm in YouTube. And in additionally to that, it would also help us overall in general, just allowing people to come and find us and talk about the content that we're talking about. If you like it, please share it. That's it. And then I like that. If you like it, then share it. What is it? If you like it, put a ring on it. If you like it, then share it. Right? There we go.
Put a ring on it. I've already done that a few times, so we're not going to do that again.
Yes, you're very monogamous. I've noticed this.
Three different times.
Three different times. In your kid, mid-age, and now in your Mid-age again.
All right, let's see who's joining us on the Twitter here.
On the Twitter, we
I
got
did get that
21
started,
views
didn't I?
already.
Yes, I did get that started. That's running.
Yep,
So
I
thank
see
you
it
to
right
everybody that's joining us on the Twitter.
Absolutely.
I don't
Appreciate that
have that
immensely.
going.
If you guys don't mind putting a share on that and retweet that, that always helps us out quite a bit. We already got 14 people. It's cool.
Welcome everyone
Please hit
on X.
And
Please like and subscribe. Subscribe. Follow. Just do it. So for those of you, the new people watching on X there, I'm assuming all of you are new so far. One of the things that you can always do is come on over to the YouTube stream after you've watched for a little bit on X. Participate in the comment section, or if you actually click through to the tweet, and then click the tweet again, and it brings you up to the broadcast screen. It has a comment section, and if you bring your community there, we'll go over your charts and talk about stuff. It's Technical Tuesday, so we're going to talk projects. We hit a lot of projects yesterday also, but yesterday was an odd day, the day after a big move in the market. Not as like I predicted, Pedro. All the news sites and all that were just claiming the crash. Oh my God, super crash! People are jumping out of buildings, the whole thing. I did hear one horrible story about someone, basically betting their whole bag on a $30,000 short in the market, temporarily reversed and wiped him out. Whoops.
yep.
But overall, and if you, like we said yesterday, if you zoom out, the market just had a move, and it was predicted. And Pedro, along with BTC and a bunch of other things, said they're all coming down to these levels. And look at that chart right behind me, ladies and gentlemen. It came down to those levels. So Pedro, what's going on with BTC right now?
BTC is looking hot. Excuse me. Woo. Forgive me. BTC is looking hot to trot. I'm waiting for it to see it come up. You can see we don't really have a lot of volume coming in, which is not a good sign. It is moving up. So the fact that it's moving up into areas that potentially could see another sell-off is kind of like what we talked about yesterday. More importantly, though, if we do see another leg down where we see it kind of come up and then come back down again, this 41,000 area is looking hot. I mean, hot to trot, like woo, mama, like
Shizzle,
ye gats,
his BTC canizzle.
like ye gats, holy moly!
Yeah, and this I'm just gonna pimp your BTC talk here for just a moment to also talk
Please
BTC.
do. Pimp away, my friend, pimp away.
All right, here I got my chart here, and I'm using what, Pedro? I'm using DidFi. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Let me do my thing and bring them up here. BidFi Stella, if you're watching, now's a good time to comment. What happened to my screen?
Stella. Hey, which is cool is we did not get hit with a copyright infringement.
No, we did not.
No, we did not.
Apparently, we did under 3 seconds worth. Anyways, you can see this is the 1 minute BTC chart, and I know Pedro doesn't talk much about the 1 minute chart, and he's more into the fewer longer trends, fewer trades, fewer better ones instead of lots of little ones. But however, when you're testing out a platform like I've been doing here, you degen a lot and you look at the 1 and 5 minute charts because there's movement and you can practice trading, you can do all that kind of stuff, especially if you're using the demo platform here on BidFi. But Pedro, I pimped your BTC thing to talk about because I'm in a BTC trade right now.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Going long.
Yep. I went long. The funny thing is that I can't really. I don't know if my whiteboard's gonna work here. Let's just give it a shot and see if it does. No, it's not gonna work. Right where this peak was. My camera's not gonna get me up there. The peak right before the high where it is now. I was in the trade coming up to that, and I kept moving my stops up, and I finally was able to move my stops up into the profitable area. So even if I got stopped out, I made some money. all good things happen. It wicked down, stopped me out, and I'm like, all right, whatever. Immediately started back up, and I was listening to Crypto Lifer, and he's drawing his technical analysis for the short term stuff, and he's like, it's just gonna keep going back up. So I made a mistake. Instead of just taking my gains and like reevaluating, I FOMO'd in. But it's paying off because I'm up. I don't know if you can read these numbers here on the great bid fight thing. I'm up at $11. So you know this is a really big trade. Really, really big. Oh, now I'm up $14. But anyway, Mike, and I brought this up. Usually I like to let Pedro go with it here. But Mike, it was just commiserating the fact that, where was it? He says, technically lost half my bag on a short yesterday. I read it wrong. He said it's a small bag, but you can do that. Oh, now let's see, look at that. It's already coming down. I'm only up $4. But what I wanted to take this time to always reiterate is that me putting the stop in the right place caused me to not just lose money, but caused me to still save money and earn it. I shouldn't say save money, win a trade. And remember, Mike, specifically, put those stop orders in so you don't lose half your bag accidentally. All right, Pedro, back to you. Sorry to pimp you out, but wanted to bring that.
No, it's totally okay. I think what's really important is the idea of every time you get stopped out, right? You want to understand why you got stopped out. Just don't let yourself get stopped out. Try to understand what the market makers and what the institutions were trying to do, right? I think one of the biggest issues that people sit there and say, oh, dang, they took my stop. But they don't understand what their stop represents. That's so important, especially when you're trading, is that if you go through and you get in a trade, and as you're getting in that trade, you have reasons why you're getting in that trade. Write those reasons down. Also, write down why you think your stop right here is going to be an important spot. And if it gets taken out, then you need to analyze it, because it's really important to understand in both ways. If you're in a trade, okay, and the reason why you picked it was for you have a trade idea, you need to make sure that that trade idea is there for a reason. So it keeps you in the trade. So let's say you're about to get stopped out, like how Tom is, right? Or how Tom was about to get stopped out. Well, he has a reason why he got in on that trade. And one, maybe it's because there's 3 candles above the 8 period moving average. And it's coming down into that 8. And most likely it's going to bounce off that 8 because it's been trending off of it, on the 15-minute. So you can sit there and say, okay, you know what? My stop is safe because of X, Y, Z. So, and if you get stopped out, you reevaluate it. If you just simply put your stop in an arbitrary place with no thought behind it, then you can't sit there and evaluate it when it falls apart.
Right.
And so then again, when you get into the next trade, you're getting in and you're literally just going to get smacked again because you haven't learned from it. So when you're in a trade, understand reason why you got into it, reason why you're putting your stop at a certain place so that you can make money, right? Tom, are you still in that trade?
I am.
Good.
Welcome, Oroko Saki. It says howdy, all. And Hodl jumps in with, what's up, y'all? Thanks for joining us. I don't remember if we've seen you before, but if not, thanks for coming on over. Really appreciate it. And drop a comment. What do you want us to look at? Where'd you find us? All that type of stuff. Crypto Mike says,
absolutely.
A good point, Pedro. I should listen better.
No, it's not. I just want you to understand why. So write down why you got into a trade, your idea behind it, so you can replicate it. Or maybe your idea was wrong, but because the market was moving a certain way, it made it right.
Shireen. Well, thank you for representing the Spurgis family. Hopefully we'll see Jason later too.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us. I think people want us to talk about, which we will later, project launching. It'll launch on the 8th.
Yes. So you can see what's actually happening. So let's check out a couple of, until people give us nice. I did not know they could do that. Oh, that is so dope.
Do what?
I love it. That's cool. That's a cool thing to do.
Do what? No.
Up here, they So I look at these a lot. Top 16 on the S&P 500 and the top 16 on the NASDAQ. Because these right here, that's where your head is at. Let me go ahead and...
Hold on, while you're doing that, Roland Rod, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. And Oroko Saki says, do you look at projects that haven't launched yet, or only the ones that have? No, we'll take a look at projects that haven't launched yet. That's usually there's got to be some connection to us. Like we're going to be talking about one that has a Trump thing to it, and we're looking at it because many of our viewers are in it, and it's getting ready to launch.
Absolutely.
But all you gotta do is give us a good reason. If it's not just Solana pump and dump shit, we'll take a look at things.
Yeah, we'll look at it.
We'll tell you not to invest in anything. Always invest what you want to invest in.
But if it's a chart, it's a chart. So
right.
We can go over and play
charts are charts. But if you want us to shill something, you gotta have your community shill it in the comment section, and then maybe we'll
absolutely. Absolutely. So what I was saying, what I really like is I look at this part. So these are the top 16 market cap wise on the S&P 500. So I go through and I look at that because it kind of gives me a heads up which way the market wants to go, which way it's moving, and how it's moving. And then I look at the top 16 on the NASDAQ, and it kind of gives me what the NASDAQ is doing, right? So I can sit there. Because the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones kind of run the same stocks, I'm pretty much getting the top 10. And majority of the time, the top 10, 15 are about 10% of both markets. So if I see one of the top ones fall off, I'm able to sit there and gauge what direction it wants to go or what direction it's looking like it might go before the actual S&P 500 decides it wants to move. So I realized they just put this up here. I can quickly toggle between the two and look at what's actually happening from the change in the actual system. So it's really nice. That's just really cool for me. Let's go ahead and jump back to the watch list. So it's been really interesting. Now we've been talking about this now for probably 9 months now. About the 30-year, the inverted yield, right? That's been happening in the traditional markets.
Yep. Hold on one second, Joe. Rocco, we'll get to your comment in a little bit. Let's Pedro and I go over some technical stuff first here. Sorry, Pedro, go ahead.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Okay, there we go. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Sorry. Heroes in a Half Shell. Turtle Power. Boom, here we go. So one of the things I want to point out, and as you look, the 30-year is now sitting at about 4.16% for the 30-year for 1 year yield. And now we go to the 10-year. The 10-year is 3.88 or 3% and 3.88% for an annual yield. So now this has decoupled and now it's in the right direction. The long-term yield is higher than the short-term yield when it comes to mid. But what it has not done, and nobody's talking about, because we're still not out of this, is the 1 year. And the 1 year is sitting at 4.32. Now, if the 30-year starts to pump, it would need to get above where the 8-period moving average. And it very much could if we see a big move, which then it would then cause a bunch of other stuff to happen. On the back end, this is really important because now we need to sit there and see, well, are the Fed going to lower rates? If the Fed lowers rates, understand one thing, it is not a good thing. So if they lower the rate, it very much could decouple the whole entire yield and bond curve, and then people are losing a lot of money, and then people have to let go of those trades to recoup from a banking standpoint. So it's going to be really interesting as we move into this stage right now. What is Jerome going to do? It's a very important part in history. This is history being created as we speak. If he messes this up,
Yeah.
it will ricochet in history. It will be a historical movement for all of us.
Yeah, I think he needs to not mess with things. I think prematurely lowering rates will just spark inflation again. I think
Hmm.
you can't have the economy catch fire. I mean, let's face it. People talk about one political party talks about the economy being terrible. The other one talks about it being uh, like unbelievable. New highs were made. New highs in the stock market. New highs in Nasdaq. New highs in S&P. New highs in gold. New highs in Bitcoin. Everything was done under one political party's rule. But the other party's saying everything's awful. Everyone's unemployed and homeless and all this type of stuff. And neither case is true. Neither claim is true. The economy's cooking along. The United States, and for that matter, the OECD countries, uh, everything's going just fine. I mean, unemployment is really low compared to other countries in the world. Inflation is really low. But we can't let that stuff get lower again. We can't let inflation. I mean, we can't let interest rates go to zero again. That's not good. There has to be a penalty for borrowing money, and the penalty is cost. And we don't want inflation to go crazy again. I mean, that sucks. It really sucks. I mean, basically, my personal thought is you want inflation to match whatever the unions are demanding in their cost of living increases, so that everything stays kind of flat in real numbers. And so, Pedro, if your point being taken, if Jerome Powell screws this up, it could be a big problem.
Absolutely.
And I like the fact that in his interview the other day, he said, "Look, I'm the first chair of the Fed that is not an economist. I'm a businessman, and I'm well studied. He went to all the big schools and had the big jobs everywhere, obviously. But I really like the fact that he's not an economist in the top job, because the book guys can get too bogged down in if then this kind of what, and not zoom out and see the big picture. And I think Powell does a pretty decent job of zooming out and see the big picture. But welcome to DYOR, baby. What's up, peeps from rainy Florida? Yeah, my parents are reporting that it's quite rainy down there. They're up north near Jacksonville and just getting the heavy rains, not really any of the winds. Space Cat in the house. Space Cat. Space.
The final frontier.
Final frontier. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. And
Space.
Osaki says, I think he knows he's certainly being told he simply cannot mess this up. Sadly, we'll just have to wait and see. We need everything to stay as flat as possible. Exactly. Just let's not rock the boat right now. We got an election year coming. The economy is doing well. I mean, so what with Bitcoin and some other things? The Japanese had their worst day in years or whatever. Big deal. Everyone has their worst day in years. I had the terrible day the other day when my car didn't start. It's my worst day in years. But they'll pump again. And what one guy was talking about, which I think all of you should know, when people say, "Oh, the Japanese had their worst day," the Japanese markets need shakeups. They need shakeup. They're if you know Japanese people and Japanese businesses, they like to run smooth like this, and they run and they bury problems. Japanese businesses are well known for burying problems way down in there to maintain that smooth ride. Just like corporate America when they fudge the quarterly numbers to hide the real problems. But it's a bigger deal in Japan to do this. So when the shakeup comes, they get all egg on their face, like, "Oh, it's terrible," but it exposes all their faults, puts sunlight on all the problems, and then they come back even stronger. So once again, all the news this past week, I'm telling all you viewers, look at the big picture. Everything is good. The only thing that's not good is we're in an election year and have to suffer through it. You know what the worst thing about that, Pedro, is about being in an election year in the United States? That
our friends.
next year it's an election year in Canada, so I have to go 2 years in a row.
Oh, that's funny, dude.
2025 is the end of the parliament comes to a close, unless a party in power does some trickery and causes an election to happen early, or the government falls. It'll be October of 25. So I'm gonna get. I still got.
What do you mean the government falls? How does a government fall?
A parliamentary government. The government sits on behalf of whoever the head of state is, and that's the King of England here, and his representative, the Governor General here. And they ask the political party that wins the most votes to form a government. And it doesn't mean like create a new government. It just means put their people in the top jobs and enact their policy. And if a major vote doesn't go your way in Parliament, technically that's a vote of no confidence in the government. You got to have an election. Rarely happens because they've set up quite the rule system. Like it's like the U.S. Senate, so nothing bad can actually happen. But so I've got 2 years of leadership elections to go through. So I'm going to be crazy after a while. Dar Baby says, I killed it on Jasmine yesterday, 26%.
Nice.
I hope you killed it
Down
in the
or
perpetuals on BidFi.
Did he? Do you know?
Where's my trade? Where'd my trade go?
Did you get stopped out or?
Oh, no. Did I get logged out?
Did you?
No, I did get stopped out. Yeah. I moved it up. I moved the stop up and I got stopped out. Earned $7, but then it went right back up.
Yes, because it was going down to go up because we were above all the SMAs.
Yeah, I think I put the stop too close there.
Got it. But jumping back here to the interest rates, which I find really interesting. Now, if you look at all the short term, we're talking notes, right? Short term, dude. Like, so 30-year is sitting at 4.17%. Okay, which is pretty nice. But then when you go to like the 1 year, right? The 1 year is 4.32, which is higher than the 30-year. Okay, and then you go to like the 6 month, which is higher than the 1 year, and then you go to the 3 month, right, which is higher, substantially higher. Then we're talking like 25 basis points. Then when you go to the 1 month, dude, it's like right now it's in at 5.34. So it's still higher to sit in 1 month bonds or notes, right? Just to hang out and just to see, right? Like it's just like everybody literally sitting in cash and in treasuries to make sure that they can get in and get out. This is the most liquid in the industry, yeah, in the world. And it's just so interesting. Everybody's like, yeah, we're just gonna chill and wait. We're not gonna do much until y'all work out this craziness. So I just think it's really interesting. China, on the other hand, had a huge sell-off. Pretty good, to a point where it came all.
China had a sell-off.
So this PGJ, Pedro Garcia, right here. It's funny because I literally won when I just getting into trading. I was like, because ETFs. I was looking at ETFs. I was like, is there an ETF that has my initials? And then boom, sure enough, there you go. So I was like, oh wow, that's cool. So I follow PGJ. Because it literally, but speaking of China, this is their actual ETF. One of the ETFs you can use to follow them.
Oh,
and they had a pretty hardcore sell where they made a completely new leg down from yesterday's fall, and they're bouncing back off of that the 8 period, which most likely is going to turn it around because you can see how it's been following it pretty good. So India, on the other hand, right? It literally sold off hardcore. And now we're starting to see it. And you're asking, Pedro, why are you going over these major indexes? Because right now we're in a global catastrophe potentially setting up. And so we want to look at the World Index Fund, which is sitting right up here where my cursor is at. And so I do pay attention to this because this lets me know, are we now starting a world trend downtrend? We're seeing unemployment really kind of pick up around the world and starting in the U.S., right? We know that because of last week. We saw that with unemployment. In addition to that, this week alone, we saw ISMs, which is manufacturing, kind of have like good and bad numbers, which is I'm actually pretty impressed with the institution of Biden and his financial team to actually let there be a mixed bag of information, which is nice. right? Which because we keep seeing revisions, really good numbers, and then it's revised to really, really crappy numbers. So now we're starting to see this stuff here. So it's really important to pay attention to this, because this affects crypto. Because this, guess who the primary people who buy crypto? Asia,
Right.
China. Those are the people. And so us seeing their stock market, their area of people where that employ them, right, in their countries, will allow us to know, oh, do they have extra cash to buy the crypto markets. So we're going to check that out real quick. So Asia Pacific, we can sit there, India, and we can just basically cut through, right? So you can see here, this is New Zealand. Boom, it's dropped, but it's still kind of sideways.
Versus what? New Zealand versus the dollar?
No, this is purely just their ETF, their top stock market, or their top 50, top 100, top 200 stocks.
And it's an ETF version of that traded in the US.
Exactly, that we're able to sit there and gauge what's happening. Australia just had another leg put down. We saw higher highs and higher lows. Now they just put a lower low in, which kind of blew out all of this stuff. And we're going to see it's starting to climb, but we went below the 200 period moving average, and that 200 might act as resistance. Let's check out here with Hong Kong. Hong Kong yesterday, you can see we actually sold off a little, but then we held. But then today it dropped again. So it's important here, right? Hong Kong being Tokyo. Yes? No. Why is my brain saying no?
Tokyo is Japan.
Thank you, Japan. I appreciate that. Thank you. My brain was like, no, dude, what are you doing? That's wrong. And I was like, okay, my brain's not working that well. Oh, it's working well, but my subconscious was like, no, you're off. So thank you. Japan, not China. Why do I do that sometimes? I was like, my brain is like, what's up, dude? You know this. Anyways, jumping back to what I was saying. We saw it rally up a little yesterday, but we saw the sell off. And in addition, we saw a huge gap down. So it's going to see, I think we're going to put another leg down in from Japan, which then means it's going to hurt the overall global market. Let's jump right here again. The fact is that we on Japan's index, so you can see that their sell-off was a pretty strong sell-off here. So as I'm looking at this, I'm able to sit there and see, oh shoot, something is gone awry here. We went below the 200 period moving average, and more importantly, that dictates whether or not if the carry trade is going to start really messing up. So it's something to be paying attention to as we see what's actually happening.
The carry trade, correct me if I'm wrong, is when you borrow money, like when Japan has 0% interest rates, you borrow $100 million there, and you take it over and you buy United States bonds that are paying 5%.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the definition of a carry trade.
And in a nutshell, yes. I actually have it. I actually posted. If you go to my my Twitter space, I actually posted it on. It explains it in pretty simple terms, so you can sit there and watch it. But yes and no. But the biggest key is understanding that as they start to hemorrhage, and we saw. I mean, look, it went from 72 down to 60, right? Like that's what is that? It's 10, boom, 70, 10, 10, 20. 30, 40, that's almost 20%. No, it's a little less than 20%. It's maybe 15% of their stock market fell in a matter of a couple of days. So you can sit there and see it went all the way up to 70, and it came down to $60. So right now
that's a big gap down.
It's a very big gap down. Let's check out here real quick. Singapore is showing some strength actually. You can sit there. Singapore doesn't really have yes, they have major. Anyways, I'm not going to go into this, but I just want to say this is what I do to see what's actually happening overall. Taiwan, you can see they're having issues with a lot of their stocks and their companies. Right now, if this thing starts to fall through and we start to see this thing bottom out, some of these companies are going to close up because their stocks went belly up, just like when we saw Bear Stearns, right? Bear Stearns went belly up when their stock went to zero. As the stock market goes down in much of the world, we're going to see other countries getting laid off or seeing a layoff within their governments, which then produces less amount of people buying crypto or a lot more scams happening.
No,
You know,
no.
so South Korea,
Crazy.
you can see South Korea. We literally were at I think on Friday we were at 65. Now it's down to 59. So what is that? That's 10% drop. So almost a 10% drop sitting there. It's a big move, right? As we want to pay attention to this stuff because these are the things that affect us, right? So we want to make sure we're looking at this stuff here. So it's one of the things that I look at as an indication of what potentially could happen as we move forward here. Europe, similar situation, right? We went from 55 down to 53, 52. So less than 10%, which is nice. That's good, right? For Europe. So this very much could be a systemic issue because much of the financial industry are tied to one another. And so when we sit there and we see them playing, and when one goes down, another will go down as well. So it's just something that you need to be keeping our eyes on. Also, JP Morgan, I believe it was JP Morgan who literally said that they're going to be sitting back. They don't know what's going to happen, and they're already kind of hard up. So normally they would come and buy distressed banks, things of that nature. When companies go belly up, that's money that is being lent and loaned to corporations. When a corporation goes belly up, that money gets lost because it now goes to the debtors, and whatever is left of that company will get sent to the bank. Well, if enough of this happens, that can actually cause a cascading effect on through a banking run as well. They don't have money. They don't have enough money coming in. So this is where we are riding a fine line right now. We're kind of on a scale of 1 to 100. We're about 50-50 right now. Very much things can go very wrong real quick. And there are a lot of ways for things to go wrong. So it's one of those things to just be paying attention to, understanding what's happening and making sure that we're viewing things correctly. You want to look at the overall market and understand how, let's say, Japan's stock market could affect South Korea's stock market because they're interrelated, because they're big companies that interact with other big companies for XYZ, for supply, for shipments, for a lot of those personal goods and services. So that's why it's really important to understand. Layoffs mean if let's say they want to keep workers, but they have to lay them off so that their business can stay open. Well, that means less productivity, which means that supply chain could have a slowdown, right? So these little things we want to be paying attention to. Again, today is Technical Tuesday. We're looking at what I'm kind of looking at and seeing what might potentially happening. Now, U.S. dollar. The fact that the U.S. dollar is dropping is a potential good thing. And the reason why is, because because we are the world's currency, right? And so when the U.S. dollar goes down, then their currencies go up, which means that they can actually purchase more goods and services to do business, right? So we want to make sure we're understanding from a standpoint, if the US dollar starts to go down, right? And I think, when was it? Yeah, I came around this time last year. So I remember talking about the US dollar and seeing we're hitting an area of supply, right? And we saw a good sell-off, and we've now been going down. So if we continue down, which I think we're going to, okay, the next part is 99, about 99 to about 100, which is really good for the overall market for business around the world. For us, it's also good because then people also want to buy goods and services in the U.S. The U.S. has one of the best manufacturing systems. Even though it's small here, we produce a lot of good stuff. We're kind of the primo, what's the word I want to use?
We're the most productive
Yes.
nation per capita in the world. The average GDP earned per person in the United States is $200 and some odd $1,000 per worker. And the next closest country, I think, is Germany at $50-some thousand in GDP per person. So that's a measure of your strength of your economy. How much you get out of what you put into it.
Right. So let's say we make really good steel, right? Even though we buy our steel from China, right? Or excuse me, from Mexico. That's an inside joke. Sorry. But in the same sense, the idea is that we do a lot of exporting, but we do more importing, right, than anything. That's because we have a lot of credit because we have the world currencies than us. When this is going down, this is good for us because people want to do business with us and our stock market, right? Like our stock, even though it's kind of inverse, it's not necessarily. The only thing that's truly inverse are yields and bonds. Majority of the time, they're inverse. Certain other ones can be inverse, 80% of the time, 70% of the time, based off of what's actually happening. But overall, the fact that we're seeing a sell-off in the dollar is a good thing for the rest of the world, right? So potentially, if this continues down, which I think we're going to see a sell-off to about 100 to 99-ish area, which is this lower area here, we're going to come back and test this next leg before we see May potentially going up. Right? I know Trump is pro-dollar. He wants to see the dollar go up. He wants to drop interest rates, right? Which isn't necessarily a good thing. It may increase inflation and then see some big bombshells that people don't realize. It all depends on how his financial team decides to run things. But overall, this is kind of like where we're at. So right now we're on the precipice of potentially being just coasting and being okay for the next 6 months to a year, or potentially imploding and dying and everything going to hell in a handbasket. So we're going to see. But at least we understand what's going on from a very macro standpoint, from a charting standpoint. Okay. The fact is that I like that you guys can see this, that you guys have the ability to see what's actually going on. From a charting standpoint, we're putting in some pretty good lows. So if you're looking to capture some, the Rual, or if you want to partake in, let's say, India sell-off for their S&P 500, right? Or it's just jumping in and being able to buy some of those ETFs allow you to be able to become exposed to emerging markets and get in at good rates. Not good rates, at good price points. All right, so that's in a nutshell. Sorry about that. Right. Yes. Now, let's go ahead. We wanted to see some other stuff people were talking about, correct?
You know what? Dar maybe had a question here that maybe we can address. Is there a chart that shows peak crypto trading times compared to U.S. times? As to see how they affect the markets in real time. Is there a chart that says, like global volume, maybe? Maybe don't let me speak for you if I'm wrong. Correct me.
Global volume?
Yeah, like.
There's the VIX.
I mean, when is it busy? The other busy times. One of the busiest times is the opening in New York. What are the other businesses?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
the most volumes. That shows global crypto trading volume.
Timing and volume.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
CoinMarketCap or Gecko's got something like that.
Stella.
Yeah. Looking for what time it is in Florida versus Asia. Well, one of the things you gotta quickly do if you're gonna play in this market is get to thinking in a global time.
Volume.
And not thinking about your local time. Like, I think Pedro actually lives in Pacific Coast time, if I'm correct. Even though he's not in the Pacific.
Crypto.
So you
got to
think in these time frames. But I'm willing to bet there's a chart somewhere on...
most time that volume comes into crypto.
could be on Dune. DYORBabyDune.com is a great place to come up with charts that other people
you can
put
actually
together.
create.
You can create your own.
Yeah. Timing of
Pedro, I did want to let you know that today at 1:55 I've got a hard stop because I got a 2:00 work meeting.
no worries. Okay, timing of market volume. Okay, I'm gonna have to do some research on that. Boom, trending gas station.
Gas station. Let's see,
That's funny.
Coin market cap.
Most popular. Nope. All right, let's see here real quick.
Global charts. Let's see, volume 24 hours. On CoinMarketCap. I'm going to put my screen on here.
Yeah.
On CoinMarketCap, if you go, let's go back to the beginning. CoinMarketCap, hover over cryptocurrencies, go down to global charts, and then volume 24 hours. Here, this chart. To my right here. I think it's behind my head, unfortunately. Here.
I can move it.
I'll just turn myself off. Unless you can.
I can move it. Yeah, I'm on it right now. I'm just showing my screen.
Okay.
All right.
And then it looks like you can, even though it says 24-hour volume, you can pick any time frame for you want. But that's kind of wanting hourly volume, you know. Then you can see the different. You can see the different ones during the day, during one 24-hour period. Oh, DYORBaby says, "Do I wake up at 2 a.m. to trade in Asian time?"
You could. I know many traders who do that.
Yeah.
Actually,
one of the things that you when you work on the world time for a while, you get to think about is that Hong Kong is 12 hours ahead. If it's 11 o'clock here, it's a.m. It's 11 p.m. there. It's not, and it varies a little for the year, but most of the Asian countries are within an hour or two of that time frame. India different, but Indonesia, Beijing, Japan, all of them, they're roughly, as you get down to Singapore and a little further west, it gets 13, 14 hours, or Sydney's like 14 or 15 ahead, but Hong Kong, I think Hong Kong is right around 12 hours. It's a good rule of thumb. So if you just think, if it's AM for you, it's PM for them. It's PM for you, it's AM for them. And I found that they're not a 6 a.m. group, like getting up at 6 a.m. and start trading. They roll in about 9.
So you can see here over the month chart on the 24-hour volume, you can see here that typically in the early evening, right, is typically where it kind of dies off. Boom. But around 9:30 UST or US United States, around 9:30 is kind of like where you see a peak. You can see it, but then it starts to drop. So it really starts to pick up around 3 o'clock, 3:30 to there. And then, so that's from the 8th. You can follow this down here and see kind of like where the big pickup of volume.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Really, it's from 3 o'clock again to.
There's probably a better chart out
6.
there, but that one works pretty well there.
Yeah, you can sit there and just track it and just look at each day for each time. If you're willing to, this is the stuff I actually like to do. I know it drives people nuts because they're like, dude, that's just mind-numbing, like numbers, like tracking.
It's called the no viewer numbers.
I know. But the thing is, though, this is where the money is made. Is you doing that, you doing stuff like
exactly.
that. Because nobody wants to do it. And right now AI doesn't have the ability to do it. Actually, I was trying to get it was doing it for me, but then freaking these like Bloomberg and other large institutions got pissed off because ChatGPT was going through their system, and because they charge a fee for it, right? And so people could use, they had the fee, so they were going through and like straight up just, I was looking for like 5-minute volume on XYZ and the average, and it was giving it to me, and then one day it just stopped. And I was just like, oh, and then later found out that, Bloomberg was going to be suing Microsoft for invasion of whatever. And, just like the whole entire Napster music thing, it was just dumb. So I get it. They pay for that, but still, information. So you can see recent how the volume is picked up a lot over the last 24 hours, right? Because of what we've seen within the catastrophe of the bonds market. So it's real interesting. 11, 1, 2, 3, 4, 11. All right. So we are coming close to your hard stop, right?
No, I get 20 minutes.
Okay, cool. So CMC, crypto, fear, and greed. A lot of times, one of the things you can do is check that out. Now, there was also a group of guys who wanted us to check out as well, right? And that was Hold. What's up, y'all? What up, Hold? Did we say what's up? And then Roland Rod.
Yeah, I'm not sure they're still with us, but forget
all right,
what they were looking at here.
I was gonna pull up their chart here.
Do they have one?
Yeah, it was Roland dropped it, so I was able to sit there and see it. Boom.
For some reason, I don't have that.
And boom. Gecko Terminal. The UK has a lot of traders, but don't seem to change the market with their trading volume. Or am I confused? No, you're about right. No, because the thing is those traders, like they trade, like they're used, like they are the fodder for the institutions. So yeah, there's nothing like, but they're already accounted for. And this is not going to work.
All right, while you're doing that, I'm gonna make an announcement. An announcement. Our Pedro, if you remember, MAGA for Trump 24, that we had on the show and put $70 of our hard-earned money into it. They weren't getting any traction with that name, and where they were on, I forget what. I don't remember if they're on Sol or on BNB. It just wasn't working. So they said, all right, we're going to pull the liquidity and relaunch somewhere else. And so I just our good friend Tim Fountain is one of the mods in their Telegram room, or devs, or part of their team, or whatever. And he's made the announcement here. I've got it up on the screen here. The new name is Hair of Trump. I may have mentioned this before. The Hair of Trump. And the memes are epic in this Telegram room. But they're going to be launching on the 8th at 1 p.m. So we'll cover their launch live here on the show.
All right.
And no, they didn't give us anything to say that or promote it. But on a past episode, we did use some of our token show money here to buy into their old project. So we'll be a holder from the beginning of this one. But they're getting a lot of things. They're getting the people coming in wanting to, all the usual suspects wanting to come in and buy into it early. Is there a private sale? Is there a pre-sale? Is there blah 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 blah? No, it's just gonna launch.
Yeah. Oh, the pre-sale, nice.
No pre-sale. The pre-sale.
Or excuse me, not a pre-sale.
Fair launch.
Fair launch, yeah.
And but all the previous holders will be in it, so there won't be that thing where the first person buys 50% of the supply for nothing.
Yeah.
There's already all the other holders are in it already. So hair of Trump. They're gonna have a VC in their room tomorrow. There's a countdown for it here. It's tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. That would be 8:30 a.m. Hong Kong time. Sorry, baby. And
How are they gonna stop? How are they gonna stop the other OGs from selling off though?
There's not really that much anyway. I mean, their market cap previously was only $5,000. You know.
Oh, okay, I got you.
So
All right.
I sold my $42. So we've got the memes here. The hair. This is a
Hair of
particular
Trump.
good one.
Oh,
Santa
dude,
Trump.
this epic hair. Oh, that is good.
Hulk Hogan Trump in hair.
Oh, I love it, dude. Oh, it's so epic. Hulk Hogan Trump. Oh, dude, bro. You know, it'd be dope if he honestly got yoked up.
Obi-Wan Trump. Trump Kenobi.
Trump. Oh, shoot, dude. These are epic. Like, legit. You're legit.
Wait,
Oh,
let's
is
do
so
this right.
good.
So they have some social media stuff here. Let's hair of Trump.
Of Trump. Whatever happened to fat ass cat?
That one, Gonamundo.
Oh yeah.
Wait, let's go. I'm gonna try and copy. Got to get it so it says hair of Trump in the box at once. Screenshot it.
Dude.
There we go. I grabbed it. All right, now I'm gonna drop it in their TG room.
Oh, that's good.
Talking a little hair on the show.
So this was
MAGA for Trump 24. I think they may be launching on E. I don't know why.
this is Trump with hoodie. Is this one?
Trump with
Trump
hoodie.
Trump with hoodie.
Here we got the Trump hair socks. Oh, look at this. Look at these. This has got to be an AI generated
Dude.
version here. It's just awesome. Trump the gladiator. Trump the skater with the mohawk here. Right here. They got
Dude.
dudes from the Operation Phoenix group. They got DeFi Sean in there. Got Tim Fuentes is heavy into Operation Phoenix too.
That's what's up.
Here he is pointing. This doesn't get us mega views, then nothing will.
Mega views. Oh, that's good.
All right, that's enough of that for now. Anyway, hair of Trump, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. Uh-oh. Program El No Worko.
Oh, really?
No, it's right.
Are we frozen?
No.
Okay.
That problem's cured. Now I've got just a slow problem, as they say. The hair of Trump. Anyway, I don't think any of the hair of Trump people managed to come over. I wonder where our friend Tim Fountain has been. Oh, I did get some comments here. It reminds me of Legend of the Seeker. It's got a sword of truth. Not sort of truth. It's sword of truth. You've seen that. Okay. All right. So what are you looking at now, Pedro?
This is called it Trump with hoodie.
Oh yeah.
It was the crew of guys that were in here earlier. But I just thought it was kind of funny. But it's nothing really much here. They're just kind of consolidating. They went up. Looks like they had, excuse me. I think they had a 20x or a 30x. It's like 40x. It's like a 40x. So not bad at all. and then it pulled back from that to about 50%, 60% retracement here. Not bad. We'll see what's up. They're following that 8-period moving average. The only issue that I see is that there's really not a demand wake until we get down to, well, I guess this is where we're sitting at right here. So it'd be right here. All right, yeah. So looking at this from a standpoint of TA, man, yeah, this is why it came down to this level. If this doesn't hold, the next level is right here. So it should
Man,
be...
Pedro, I know you love doing technical analysis, but on these political ones, the next level is always 0. I take that back. It may not be the next level, but it's. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, none of this is financial advice, and as the thing says down here, you are watching Pedro Garcia give chart analysis. This is not financial advice. Please make sure you make your own decisions for investing. Remember, we're just giving you the tools to educate you and help you do a better job. So you should use BitFi and trade futures and perpetuals.
There you go.
Let's talk about some of our other sponsors. One of our sponsorships is coming to an end here, and shortly. But obviously I want to thank them for everything, and that is World of Rewards. And their banner should be coming up. There it is. World of Rewards. If you're a small project and you want exposure to more holders, you've got 50 holders and you want 200 more, go over and see Bruno at worldofrewards.finance. What they do is they run a rewards contract in which you give a small portion of your tokens to them, and they give them out as rewards. And what that does is populate all their holders with tokens from your wallet, from your project, and so it increases your holder account. And also, they get to pick and choose which ones they get rewards in. So if they like it, it's a validation. You get another person in your community that really enjoys it. And thus you get another mouthpiece talking about your project, and maybe they invest instead of just the rewards, the few dollars they got in rewards, maybe they come over and invest in your project too. That's how it's done, good word of mouth. And Bruno takes care of business over there with World of Rewards. They're coming out with an all-new DApp as Bruno learns the lessons about DApps. Not all of them are good. But they do a good job. And if you have a small project, go over there and see them. And of course, it would not be... Let's see if the Defi Dojo thing comes up. I have the button pressed. Come on. See, we're running a little slow here. That's the beta version of this software that I've been testing is running a little slow. World of Rewards has not left the scene. Not left yet. Oh, hell.
Nice. Well, I mean, either way, it was a good company, and they were willing to work with us, so we appreciate them. How's their chart doing, anyways?
You know, I haven't looked at it in a couple of days.
Yeah, World of Rewards.
It's $ WOR on BNB.
Right here, $ war. Here we are. Ooh.
Directly behind. No, that can't be it. That chart's only a few days. Their project's a year old.
It's $, yeah. $ world. WOR, right? WAR. Oh no, World of.
WOR.
Yeah, WOR. Yep.
On BNB.
Yep. Solana. ETH. I don't see anything. WOR, right? WOR. Here we go. It's the only one that was there. Liquidity. 9,000 volume. Yeah, maybe did they change their
I don't know. I told them if there's anything updated for me to make a new video for them, let me know. Let's go check.
Yeah. I'm looking at it right now, man. I can't.
Here, I'm dropping the link in your.
All right, perfect.
Maybe. Same one.
This is on. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't have them. It's not pulling up.
It's pulling her up though. Anyway, I do have to get going, Pedro.
Alrighty. Well, people, you're here. If you guys have any questions, any concerns, anything you guys want us to go over, please don't hesitate. Go ahead, reach out to us. We're willing to, research it, look at it. It looks, and just kind of go over stuff. So we'll, hopefully, if you guys have any questions, concerns, just let us know. We'll go over it. And I think I already told you guys this already, but just let us know. And I'll go over the charts and kind of do the stuff that you guys want me to do it. All right.
Oh, that's always a good show, though.
Yep. Yeah.
Not always. Not
later.
Pedro says not always is that. Man, I don't know why that DeFi Dojo thing finally just went now. I pressed that button 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, you've been.
But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, had a good show today. On the DeFi Dojo side, I think we finally have another DeFi Dojo segment coming up. I can confirm that today. But if you want AMAs or anything like that, go see JBee in the comments to their Telegram. The DeFi Dojo's digits are there. Get a hold of them. And you can also get things like KYC inexpensively done and all that type of stuff. But before this show comes to an end, as always, I want to thank everybody, especially on Twitter. We had a good group of people there tuning in, but not commenting. So we got to get you commenting and watching longer over there on X. And Jesus comes on right as we're ending the show. Jesus, I got bad news for you, buddy.
Yeah, we're out.
Yeah,
but
we out.
We are out. We out.
On that note, everyone, thanks a lot. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media world. So glad to have hosted another episode of DYOR Live on behalf of Pedro and I. We'll see you tomorrow.